Host Rob Carbone. This is BD4.
Garrett, some shake and bake, catch for three. Tantalizing the crowd with Laird. Oh, hang on to the roof. Goodbye. Anthony for three. That one goes down. Gotta put four fingers up when Torres comes to the plate. The ball.
All right, what's going on, everybody? What is happening? I am your host, RJ Carbone. Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome to episode 219, where we're talking Yanks again, man. You know, we're starting to progressively talk Yankees more and more in the show because it is March. Set myself up there, and I got to check. It is March 7th, a Sunday night, March 7th. We are almost there. We're almost to the regular season for the MLB. I am so excited. But yeah, as I am recording, is March 7th. As you are listening to this, I'm not sure when I'm going to drop this episode yet, but it will be the week of this day. It'll be the week of March 7th. So expect it maybe March 8th, March 9th, or 10th. I want to say one of those days. Who knows? Maybe I put it out as soon as I can finish editing it, but we'll see. But I can't believe we are already, just already in the midst of spring training baseball right now. It's crazy how shit, just flies by. We are obviously, it's the 1 year pretty much anniversary of when the sports started to shut down. Ever since this came back, I've never taken it for granted. Well, I always bitch and moan, but it's just part of the being a fan. But I'm just happy it's back, and I'm never taking sports for granted again. And on a good thing, we're starting to get more fans in the seats. That's awesome. That's the most important thing to me is, because just watching baseball last year, it didn't feel like it, I mean, it was fun, right? It was still fun. It was baseball. You were into it, blah, blah, blah. But first of all, the whole 60 game shtick, that was a joke to me. Again, I was fortunate we had a sport, but I'm just glad now we have 162 games. Okay, so we're back to normal there. We have a crowd, right? It's not full capacity, but we have a crowd. It's just those two things make such a difference. So just to be able to be back to normal to a degree now in terms of sports, where we're much closer to the exact norm that we were once at, that's fucking huge. So I'm taking that as a positive. We don't have to sit through a brief marathon of a baseball season with no crowd. We can actually have fans in the seats at Yankee Stadium, and we can actually witness a dogfight, a 162 game dogfight, which is what baseball is about. That's why baseball is so fun, because it's who can sustain this long dogfight of a summer, right? Starting in the beginning, baseball is the only sport that partakes in 3 seasons. It starts 4 almost. It starts It starts in winter. Spring training starts up in winter, right? In the beginning of March. Actually, the beginning of February is when they start reporting to camp. You go and do spring training. The beginning of the regular season. That's in the spring. Most of the regular season is in the summer. You get to the playoffs in the fall. You end the... Yeah, so you it's 3 seasons, man. So, it's such a difference from a 60 game sprint back to the 162. So thrilled for it. What was very thrilling? Oh man, it was a really good weekend for MMA fans. MMA fans got a treat. And I'm glad I picked that up. It's actually like the 1 year anniversary since I started picking up MMA. It was one of the things I started getting into during quarantine last year. You know, back when everybody took it so serious to where nobody left their house. You know, before they started realizing, okay, you can recover from this. Back when everybody was just camped in at home, we needed stuff to do. And so one of the things I did, I picked up, I just tuned into more MMA. You know, I was always a fan of it. I was, occasionally caught it, but I actually took time to watch weekend to weekend the fights. You know, Dana White said they were going to Fight Island. I was like, oh, I'll check this out. I am fucking glued since. And this past weekend, yesterday, as I am recording, yesterday, Saturday the 6th, it was good, man. It was really good. You know, it was a stacked card. One of the more stacked cards you're going to see. You know, the prelims, all the prelims were pretty fucking solid. Actually, the fight of the night was a preliminary fight. It was Kennedy and Olberg. That was a good fight. I think Kennedy won. It was very aggressive, very lively, energetic. A lot of it was a stand-up battle. Guys were it was all standing up, just trading punches. Very good fight. Great match to start. That was the fight of the night, one of the prelims. But the main card was good. The main card, in my opinion, I think the main card lived up to its hype. After that first one, the first one was pretty underwhelming, right? The first fight on that main card was pretty underwhelming. I'm watching the NBA All-Star game right now. God, that shit's a joke. I don't even know, like, they changed that shit. We'll get to that. We'll get to it. The first fight of the of UFC 259, the first fight on the main card, yeah, it was pretty quiet, right? You had two guys who were known for their power and knocking people out, and Santos and was it Rakic is his name, but it was pretty disappointing. I thought this was, unfortunately for me, this was one of my 5 legs on my parlay, and I had this one going inside the distance because I thought, two people who are very, again, powerful, this could have ended in a knockout at one point. But it ended up going the distance. It goes all 3. There was not a knockout, and just the opposite of an aggressive fight. Just the guys weren't really going at each other, and, Santos just didn't look good at all. And he ends up losing, and it was a pretty uneventful start to the card. But, it gets interesting. The next fight is Islam versus Dober. And forgive me, because I know I'm probably going to pronounce a few names wrong tonight, and forgive me for that. Because I've just picked up UFC last summer, so I'm trying here. But this one went to Islam. He took it. He got a round 3 submission. Guy's a good ass fucking fighter. Good ass fighter. I didn't know who he was until this fight, but apparently a lot of people think he's underrated. He comes from Khabib's camp. And, anybody who comes from his camp is probably pretty fucking decent. So people are saying he's top 15 at worst. And, he's probably going to end up fighting some bigger names now. He's on a lot of people's map now. People know who he is. They're starting to figure out who this guy is. Khabib was in his corner. I saw that. That was pretty cool. Yeah, and he ended up taking down Dober, and luckily for me, I needed that. That was one of the bets I had too. Then we get to one of the more not controversial, but maybe just maddening. One of the more maddening performances of the night. It was just a very unfortunate fight. The fight itself was good. It was a great fight. The fight was very good. It was pretty evenly matched, but you could see as the fight went on, that Petr Yan was starting to take the lead, and he had some momentum, and it looked like he had the fight in his bag. Round 4. All of a sudden, he gets Aljo Sterling to the ground, and he fucking throws the illegal knee. He throws the illegal fucking knee. Now, people are speculating about it. Did he do it intentional? Obviously, it's intentional, but did he, was it a lack of focus? That's what Jan says. Was it miscommunication from his English-speaking corner, versus the Russian-speaking corner? A lot of people are speculating different things. Regardless, lack of focus, miscommunication, it was just a dumb fucking decision to throw that knee. I mean, like I said, the guy, I'm pretty sure most of us knew the guy, other than that one dumb asshole ref who had Sterling ahead. The other couple of refs knew what they were saying, and they had Jan ahead, and he looked like he was about to take the fight. It really looked like Jan had the fight in the fucking bag. But he threw the knee, and he gets DQ'd. Did Sterling milk it a bit? Maybe. But unfortunately, the way it ends, and I would hate, to win a title. This is a title match. This is a 5-round match. I would hate to win a title by getting my ass kicked and only taking the title because the other dude was a clown. I mean, just getting my ass kicked and then getting the title. It's like participation trophy in a way. It's, I'm sure Aljo felt the same exact way. It's gotta suck to be able to lose like that and still win. He was clearly losing at that point in time, but the illegal knee happens and he gets the belt by disqualification. I don't know. I think they should just vacate the fight. Dana is saying, though, Dana said they're going to have a rematch as soon as possible. So both of their next fights are likely to be against each other. So that's good. But yeah, it was just unfortunate because it looked like it was on its way to a 5-round battle where, Jan was winning at the time, but there was a whole other round and a half left. You never know what could have happened. And it was just so unfortunate. This was the fight that, going into the odds were pretty even. They weren't too far apart. I think Jan was favored by a bit, maybe minus 200. But yeah, it was close. It was very close. A lot of people were expecting this to be the fight of the night, or they were expecting it to be very good. And it kind of put just a sour way to end it. It could have put a damper on what could have been otherwise a really good fight. But we bounced back with a powerful victory in the next fight with fucking Amanda Nunes going up against Megan Anderson. And fucking Megan Anderson, another chick I'd never even heard of before I watched the presser the night before the fight. She is big. She's like 6 feet tall on a bad day. She's tall. She's big. So, maybe there was an upset. But I think Nunes was like minus 1,200 to start out as a favorite. And she's a fucking animal. A fucking robot. She's unbelievable. She's obviously the greatest of all time. Incredible performance by her. Not even maybe 3 minutes into it, not even. She gets the knockout on Anderson. Anderson, I don't even remember her touching Nunes. Maybe gets 2 strikes on her. She lands maybe 2 strikes. That's what the card said. But, oh my gosh. Just total domination. Didn't even last a round. Nunes goes in, does the job, and boom. I think she's 21-4 now, maybe. Yeah. And those losses came earlier in her career. She hasn't lost in a while. She's the greatest. And now she goes on to it's like, she was talking to Rogan after the fight. Rogan goes, you have yourself to blame. Because who the hell is she? Who's she gonna fucking fight? Logan fucking Paul? Like who's next on her card? Like what's her future looking like? Because she's literally taken down everybody. I mean, hell. Who is next? That's really weird. It's like you can just retire at that point, but she loves the game, and nobody wants to see her retire. They want to see her keep kicking ass. But she is literally taking down everybody in her path. She's a fucking animal. She's a monster. She's awesome. She's so cool. Quickly become one of my favorite fighters. And that was the co-main. That was the co-main event. A good fight. You know, a good 3 minutes. But well worth it, man. It was fucking awesome. And then we get to the motherfucking Izzy Adesanya and Jan Bohevich. Whatever. I hope I said his name wrong. Right. But fucking, you know, the Polish fuck. Polish power is what they call him. That dude. He is thick. That guy's huge. He is fucking big. He's massive. I mean, shit. He is powerful. Izzy's quick. Izzy's got agility. He's pretty powerful himself when he gets a hold of you, but that dude was huge. And I thought, you know, there was a chance there would be an upset here. That's why this one wasn't pretty far out. It was pretty even. But, you know, I actually had this one being a knockout. I put some money on this one being a knockout. And this ends up going all 5. Was it the barn burner that everybody expected? No. No, it wasn't. You know, Izzy didn't have that same dominant pizzazz because it was just a close fight. He was focused from the start, and so was this Jan guy. But Izzy, you know, he didn't exactly have the same, you know, it didn't feel like he was, it didn't ever feel like he was going to win this fight. I think it's the best way I can put it. You know, whenever he got a good land on Jan would just strike back. You know, it was pretty close. It was close. This one was definitely close. You know, obviously it ended up going all 5 rounds. But, you know, I guess size won in the end. And, you know, this is the fight that Izzy had to move up 20 pounds for, right? He went from the 185 to the 205. So that's tough to do. And, you know, it ends up being very competitive going all 5, but you just felt like the entire time you didn't feel like Izzy had it. And I think, you know, it was pretty controversial, but I thought, you know, I wasn't too, you know, maybe it's just me because I'm new and I don't know jack shit about MMA, but to me it looked like Izzy only took 1 round and I thought that Jan had the other 4. Dana White did not like that. He thought, you know, that was the whole thing in the presser when he was talking about how he was just going off on those judges for scoring. You know, 2 judges gave him 10-8 in the 5th. 2 judges gave him 10-8, and he was just going off on them because he was saying how 10-8 used to mean, you know, the guy dominated. It used to mean it wasn't even a close fucking round. But I honestly didn't. I don't know. White was like saying how the fuck could you think it was 4-1? I don't. You know, I really did. I think the only round that was clear to me that Izzy took was round 3. He had the first half of round 5. It looked like he was slightly ahead there, but then, you know, that's kind of where things started to go downhill, and that's where it all ended, is when, you know, Jan took him down. He had the takedown, and Izzy could not get up from there. The final 2.5 minutes of this fight was Izzy on the ground trying to escape. And that was pretty much it. It was over from there. So, yeah, the Polish fuck wins. Polish power. Dude is awesome. He is huge. He's jacked, and I'm just all for it. He wins. But I'm a big Izzy fan. I like Adesanya. He's fun. He's exciting. He's hilarious. And he took the loss well. He's pretty humble in defeat there. He had the interview with Joe. He was saying all the right things. Yeah, but it was unfortunate. That was his first loss ever. He was 20-0 before that. You know, people were talking about Jones versus Adesanya. Was he going to fight John Jones? Now that's over. That's over. No more John Jones. But now we're looking at maybe Glover Teixeira versus Jan. You know? But, yeah, I mean, listen, all around it was a good card. It was a really good Saturday night. It was a successful, very successful night. Yeah. I had a really good time watching that. From the prelims all the way, seriously, from the early prelims all the way to the end of that main card. I liked it. It was fucking awesome. It definitely lived up to its spectacular hype. And there's another big card coming up. Not as big, but on the 27th this month, we've got a pretty good card. I don't know all the matchups, but I do know that it features like O'Malley, Woodley, Ortega's coming back on the card, Alexander Volkanovski, and then I think the main event is Stipe Miocic versus that one dude. Forget the guy's name. It starts with an N or something. I don't know, but yeah, it's gonna be a good card too. Don't get me. That's one I'm excited for. Yeah, next weekend though, I think it's Leon Edwards, and the only other guy I know on that card, Dan Ige. So I'll still tune into that because I'll tune into any of these fights. I have so much respect for what these guys do. And they're able to just sustain it and keep coming back and doing it over and over. Getting their ass beat. Coming right back out there. Fucking nuts. Fucking insane. You know, Dana wants to go to Texas. He wants to go to Texas because, you know, obviously... Well, he was saying how he hoped that... He wanted to go there as soon as possible. He wanted UFC 260 to be in Texas, you know, because the governor's obviously opened back up. Businesses are open 100% capacity at these venues now and all that. So fucking, it would have been nice, right? It would have been awesome to get UFC 260 back in Texas. Or over in Texas. But he said, you know, these mayors are making it tough for him. You know, fucking, so they're staying at the apex for now. But hopefully soon we can get something going in Texas and have a, you know, because, you know, I would love to be able to watch UFC with a crowd. My only experience with this sport is watching it with no crowd. You know, I would love to see what it's like watching a live event where I don't know the outcome with a crowd, right? I would love to see what that's like. But for now, we're staying at the apex, and I think, yeah, it's going to be cool to see what happens in the future with this sport, man. Yeah, but overall, man, I liked this weekend. Was good. I thought this card, this group of fights, it was fucking amazing. I loved it. You know, did it go the way everybody expected? No, but nothing ever goes the way it's expected to go. But was it every bit as good as hyped up to be? Damn right. Yeah. I think so. So that's all I've got for MMA. That's probably the longest we've ever spoken about MMA on the show here on BD4. Guys are listening to the podcast, episode 219 of BD4. I am your host, RJ Carbone. Thank you for stopping by and tuning into BD4. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iTunes, Google, Anchor, SoundCloud. Watch us on YouTube or plenty more platforms where you can listen to this podcast or watch it. Just go to my website to find my website, all these platforms, my blog, where to find me on social media, all that stuff that has to do with my work, my content. Just go to my Linktree to find that information. Go to my Linktree. Go to linktr.ee/RJ Carbone. That's going to take you to my Linktree. It'll give you all the links to anything you need to find me at. Social media, the blog, all the podcast feeds, and more. And Yeah, it was a good weekend for UFC for sure. I'm so happy I started picking up this shit, man. It is so entertaining. I have so much respect for what UFC fighters do. To me, it's UFC, and then every other sport. You know, it really is. I have, sports are sports. They're games. They're fun, but fighting, it's fucking legit. It's real shit. You're actually doing damage to another human's body. Where in sports you throw around a ball. It's real, but it's not real. It's not like you're doing anything to somebody else. You're literally doing damage to another human. It's just so fucking entertaining. I love it. It's barbaric. It's fucking dirty. It's nasty. It's everything, but it's fun. It's fun, and it's safe. It's safe. They are sure that this is safe stuff. They take very good care of their bodies. They know when to call and stop the fights. But it's fun. Very fucking fun. Alright. Yeah, I'm watching the NBA All-Star Game. So, this fucking format, I think it's the second time they're doing it. So, I still don't really understand what the deal is. I guess they restart the score each quarter now. Well, why can't they just have a full fucking 4 quarters and just play basketball like usual? I don't know. But they're trying to get cute. It's for charity, so I like that. But, there are other ways to donate. You don't have to. It's just, I don't understand. They literally restart the score every quarter. And then I think the 4th quarter, there's no time limit. I don't know. It's a good thing I didn't bet. Because I probably would have fucked it up. Not knowing what the hell the rules are. And these uniforms are ugly. It's Team LeBron, and this whole team versus team, like it used to just be East versus West, go out there for 4 quarters and ball out. I loved it. Loved it. Obviously the no defense thing has always been annoying, but it's the All-Star Game. Who gives a shit? I don't know. This whole thing is weird. 7-6 with 9.5 left in the second. I don't know what. I don't know. But it's, they cater to the younger Gen Z fans, and I'm sure they're all over this shit. I don't know. Fuck it. My generation's weird. I'm actually a millennial, but I saw the end of the 3-point contest. I guess I missed the dunk contest. That might have been before it. Yeah, I'm sure it was before the 3-point contest at 6:30. I think was when the entire thing started. So I didn't see that. I don't even know who won. I didn't really give a shit. I missed that. I missed the skills contest, which I heard Sabonis took. Domantas Sabonis. Julius did not win. But I wonder who won the dunk. I'm sure Obi Toppin did not. Big men usually just don't have a good, chance at winning those things. But, yeah, so now we're on to the All-Star Game. But the 3-point contest was good before this. I saw the end of it, but I saw Steph Curry's entire turn. And it said Mike Conley had 27 points, and Curry just beat him out on the final shot in that, on the right wing, on the right corner, in the right corner there for the 28th point. He just made it. He was hitting there was a point where he made 6 or 7 in a row. From the left wing to the top of the key. And then he missed a couple, and then he got hot again at the end. And just beat him out. And was that his second in a row? I'm pretty sure. So, fuck yeah, man. It's fucking, I'm just ready for the fucking season to start back up. This All-Star shit has never been, I'm just not, I'm never really into it. I'll watch it, but I just, ugh. I think it's just because I'm so used to my routine. I watch the Knicks for fucking every single night. Now you tell me I have to fucking just sit here for 7 days in a row and wait for them to come back. It sucks. Especially when the Knicks are playing well, So, all right. That's that. Let's stop bullshitting because we're here to talk Yankees tonight. They played the Phillies today, who, by the way, the Phillies now have Torreyes and Nova, so you can add those two guys to the insane list of former Yankees turned Phillies. It's insane. They showed a graphic on yesterday. How many fucking Yankees at one point or another are now on the Phillies currently? It's crazy. So, Torreyes and Nova, the latest to join DD. I don't think D-Rob is over there, but I know Girardi's still there. I'm sure there are more I'm not thinking of. It was like a list of like 11 people. Players and managers and people on the staff. It was nuts. But yeah. Aaron Boone returned this weekend. That quick scare with the heart surgery, that came out of nowhere. But he's fine. He recovered and he's back quick. He's back a lot quicker than I thought he would be. I thought it was going to be a long thing, but apparently he was cleared. Back with the team. Wonder if that's going to affect him though. Like if he has to be more tame this year. He's not like he's never been a fire and desire guy anyway. But I don't know. But good to see him back. It's been pretty slow in the news. I don't have much written down here on the notes. I fucking have Garrett Cole likes the consistency of the new baseballs. Those are one of the things I read in the headlines of the New York Post. Which is the most Garrett Cole thing ever. It's such a Garrett Cole thing to say. Speaking of, that whole thing is starting to pop up again. The whole DeGrom versus Cole thing. I mean, do I even need to say it? The guy who thrives in the postseason should get the upper hand here. Just saying. That's really all that fucking matters, to be honest with you, is postseason performance. So it's unfair to DeGrom. His team never makes it. Well, fucking, it's unfair to Cole for not counting him. Cole has fucking dominated in the playoffs so far in his career. He's been great. I'm not just going to discount that. Fuck. Guy's a monster. I'm sorry. I pick him. Fuck yeah. Guy's a winner. He's a winner. All right. And something else I saw. I don't know if anybody's into like trading cards, but Mickey Mantle, his 1952 rookie card, autographed rookie card, sold for $1.4 million today. For $1.4 million today, yes, at an auction. Jesus. Just a little piece of paper for that much. Isn't that crazy? Crazy. The bid started at $200K, is what I hear. That's what I read on Bleacher Report. And it worked its way all the way up to $1.4 million. Got to keep these cards in great shape, too. And it was said that, that this Mantle card was in mint condition. So, you got to keep the corners crisp, and it has to look exactly like it did when it came out of the box and the plastic. So, $1.4 million. Mickey Mantle's rookie card. Just makes you wonder if you have a Gleyber Torres rookie card right now, or fucking, Garrett Cole, or not Garrett Cole, but Aaron Judge, although I don't think he's going to make the Hall because he's so old and his career has barely gotten started because of the injuries, but, Gleyber Torres, somebody in baseball, Tatis, Trout rookie card, hold on to that shit. Do not let it go. Do not let it go. No fucking way. Jesus. All right, let's head to break, guys. When we get back, we're gonna get going. We'll start with things. This is episode 219 of the podcast. On this episode, we're just gonna talk some storylines of spring training, of the regular season, things to follow, keys to their success this year, and some more things. So we'll get into that as soon as we get back from our first break here. Thanks for stopping by. I am your host, RJ Carbone. We'll be right back. I mean, I guess we'll start with the rotation, right? Because, well, it's the one thing we all have to talk about. Domingo Herman is back with the team. He's getting another shot. Obviously, what he did, or allegedly, I don't know, was very fucking disturbing, disgusting. It's fucking uncalled for. But he's back, and he's going to try and bounce back with a strong season and hopefully crack a roster spot crack a rotation spot and redeem himself by pitching like he did 2019, and he was fantastic. He was an 18-game winner. He had 21 of those 27 outings where he allowed 3 runs or less. In 17 of those 21 outings, he tossed at least 5 innings, so he was consistently good. Dominant at home. He always pitched well at home. I remember that. He was really fun to watch. He was electric when he took the mound and when he got it going, right? That fastball curve combo. Had the good changeup to complement it. He was fun. And so he's trying to redeem himself, and he's pitched a few innings so far in the spring. Yesterday, I think he had 4 strikeouts in 2 innings. The changeup was his power pitch yesterday. That was his go-to pitch. He had 3 strikeouts with that changeup. So he looked good. And is he, hopefully he does crack a spot. I'm rooting for him to succeed. As a player, he was very good for them in 2019. So that's the storyline to follow this spring. Does he perform well? Does he become a distraction as the season goes on? We heard the whole thing with Zach Britton saying, I can't control who my teammates are. I took note of that. It's fucking weird. It's a friggin' weird situation. I don't know how to, we just gotta let it play on. At this point, fucking Yankees fans, we can control nothing. We just have to sit back, and he's here, and while he's here, we have to root for him to do well as fans, I guess. You don't have to, but I don't know, man. It is odd, but he's here, and I'm gonna root for him as a player. It's weird. I'm not gonna get the guy's jersey. I'll give you that. But I want to see my team win, and I think Domingo Herman gives them a good chance to win when he takes them out. So I'm rooting for Domingo Herman, the player. Garrett Cole, year 2. I have that written down here in my notes. He threw BP yesterday. He was slated to start, but the rain changed things up, and he didn't start. He just got some work in a bullpen session. He did pitch Monday versus Detroit. I think he threw an inning. He faced like 7 batters. He kind of, pretty rusty on his way back from the off season, and some hit, like 3 hits, a walk, and wasn't exactly sharp. But regardless, I'm excited to see Garrett Cole year 2, man. I mean, spring training has nothing. It's useless for someone like Cole. He's already going to be the number 1 guy on the staff, and he'll be pitching opening day. So, I'm hoping he can build off from his very strong pinstripe debut in that 60-game season and now be even better during this 162-game year. The one thing I'm keeping an eye on, hopefully he's healthy, but the home run ball, because if you remember, that was his only big-time blemish, last season, was Garrett Cole allowing a ton of home runs. He had 14 home runs allowed. He surrendered 14 in 12 starts. And then, the postseason, he surrendered 4 in 3 starts. And it wasn't just the Yankee Stadium thing either. I was looking at the splits. It was pretty evenly split. The home road splits. So I don't know exactly what it is. It just started that he never really gave up a ton of homers with Houston. But he did throw a lot of fastballs last year. And I'm pretty sure a lot of the home runs came on the fastball. So maybe he mixed it up less than usual. So maybe this year you want to see him mix up his arsenal a bit more. But I don't know. I can't, without digging too deep into it, I can't really give a testament to why that happened last year. But regardless, he had a great year. Sub-3 in the regular season. Sub-3 in the postseason. He was great. And then it's like after Garrett Cole. See, that's where it kind of scares me. And we've talked about this. It's like after Garrett Cole, man, you've got three guys in the Yankee rotation this year who haven't thrown the baseball in a game in 2 years. Well, okay, so you have 3 guys who've barely pitched much in the last 2 years. Right, you've got Corey Kluber, who has a total of 7 starts in the last 2 seasons. You've got Jameson Taillon, who hasn't thrown. You've got Luis Severino, who hasn't thrown much since then. So you've got 3 guys on this roster, in this starting rotation, who you're going to be relying on a lot, who haven't pitched much at all in the last 2 seasons. That's a lot to ask. So after Garrett Cole, man, it's very questionable. So while Cashman continues to raise the ceiling of this staff, right, getting guys with more promise, more potential, and those types of words, the floor remains the same. It always, we keep getting these guys who have potential to be really good, but at the same time, those guys aren't guaranteed to be good, and if they're not good, we could see this rotation tumble. And so there's still that if factor. So you're hoping Kluber can give you one more good year. You're hoping Jameson Taillon could break out. And I'm really excited for him. I really hope he does well. He's a good kid. He's 29 years old, but he's at the peak of his career. And if there's one season you want him to stay healthy, it's right now. You want him to peak out here, and you want him to show the Yankees what he's got. And he pitched the other day against the Bucks. Must have been cool facing his former team the first time back out on the mound since he was with them. And he goes against them, 2 scoreless innings the other day. 4 strikeouts, 39 total pitches. And they said he was averaging just under 94 in the fastball, so, fine. He had 3 strikeouts. 3 of those 4 strikeouts I took note of that were above the letters. And I think that's going to be his attack this year more often, is throwing that high heater. He's got the new mechanics, but I'm hearing from via Matt Blake, Yankees pitching coach, that his spin rate has improved dramatically, and maybe we see him use less sinker and go more up in the zone on those lefties. So, I'm really intrigued to see what Jameson Taillon can do. I consider him the right-handed version of what we hoped to get, but never really did from James Paxton. Similar style, maybe. Big guy, 6'5", 230, 240. But yeah, I'm hoping Taillon can really come into his own here this year with the Yankees, and I'm hoping they can unlock that potential, and Matt Blake can get him. Can really get to him. And, Taillon says he's sick of hearing, so am I, all about promise and potential. I am sick of that too. from as a Yankees fan, hearing about this team, certain players, and yada yada, it's like it's go time. We need to see it actually happen. And so, he says he's sick of that, and I love that. It stood out to me. But hopefully he stays healthy. Hopefully he stays healthy, and we get the best version we've ever seen from Jameson Taillon. So, can he be that number 2 to Garrett Cole? Is Corey Kluber going to do it? Another guy who's, not exactly pitched much in the last couple of years. He actually went down the same exact day Jameson Taillon went down, ironically enough. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's a whole new rotation, right? There's no James Paxton. There's no Masahiro Tanaka. There's no Jay Happ. But there's still the same high risk, high reward type of feeling you get here when you're looking at the staff. Can Corey Kluber do it? Sure. Can he give you one more good year? Yeah. He's going to be 35 in April, but he's a guy who's done it on the big stage before. He's got the curveball, the sinker, good cutter, and a changeup. I think he used all those pitches the other day and got a strikeout or a swing and miss with each of them when he was pitching against the Jays. 2 perfect innings, 22 pitches, 3 strikeouts. Sinker was his go-to pitch, but all of his pitches were looking really crisp. Saw some of the clips on Twitter. Because I think that game wasn't televised. So, will it be Taillon? Will it be Kluber? Can it be both? Hopefully. But it doesn't always go perfectly. And I think that's one of the reasons Cashman was getting a bunch of guys in this rotation. Kind of rehauling things. And then there's who gets the 5th spot, right? Who gets the 4 and 5 spots while we await for Sevy? Is it Montgomery? Is it King? Is it Schmidt? Although he's injured right now, and I'm not sure what the news is there. Is it Herman? Davy Garcia, who's probably going to end up getting one of those spots. Lasagna, who's got an outside shot. Or do we go with a 6-man rotation? I hope not. I hope not. Montgomery pitched 5 innings so far this spring. He has 5 innings under his belt. Just 1 run allowed in those 5 innings, so he's doing well. He pitched today. Did a solid job. He's making a push. Kind of had an up and down 2020, but a pretty gritty performance there in the postseason at the end, if I can remember. So he's making a push for this rotation. You've got Michael King. I'm never really impressed. Whenever I see this guy take the mound, he had a couple of outings with the Yankees last year. It was always like the same story. He shows some potential. He flashes some of his stuff, but he always ends up disappointing one way or another and having that one really bad inning to kind of, deflate things. I'm not a big fan of Michael King to be a regular in this rotation. I wish him the best, but there are other guys who I do prefer. Damn, dude. 54 points from Team LeBron in the second quarter alone. We're going into halftime. They almost have 100 points. Gosh. Somebody just pulled up from half court. And there's 30 seconds left. This is a fucking joke, dude. It's such a fucking joke. I'm sorry. Lasagna's, he pitched 2 clean innings today. Overall, he's got 3 innings under his belt this spring, 4 strikeouts. It's weird. Like, I just feel like he's going to end up in the same role, being that mop-up man. He's never really lived up to his hype yet. I don't know. I don't see him as that impressive either. Personally, while we wait for Sevy to get back, I prefer going with a 4-5 of, this is just me, of Herman and Garcia. I think those 2 should be in there. So I'm hoping their springs are fantastic, so it can be solidified. I do think Garcia, if there's one guy of these handful of Yankees fighting for that 5th spot, I do think Garcia is probably the staple. And then we have to find out who else is going to be there in the meantime. I think Garcia is pretty much, you could fucking probably say he's a guarantee at this point. Bearing injury or, knock on wood, or a rough as hell spring. But I think we can bank on him being there. He didn't have a great start, though. So his spring's not exactly off to a great start. He allowed 2 homers and a few runs in that 15-0 loss the other day. But he was throwing mid-90s, they said. This was a game I didn't catch. But he was throwing mid-90s. They said there were 9 swing and misses. So he looked good. So hopefully he can solidify that spot soon enough. And we can get Severino. I don't know if there's a timetable on Severino, but I think if all goes well, and nothing usually goes well, but if somehow we get a miraculous, return from Sevy on time, I'm going to say it's like 2 months into the season at worst. Let's hope. I don't know. Maybe it's earlier. Maybe it's later. Who knows? But, I hope whenever he does come back that the Yankees don't milk him. Okay, he was out for 2 years. His arm is fresh. Let's get him out there and let's get him to pitch. Let him pitch. Let the guy pitch. I have this bad feeling that when he comes back, he's going to be completely milked and they're going to go 4 innings with him one day. And, these 65 pitch count restrictions on him and this and that. And he's not allowed to do this. I just hope they let him go out there and pitch. And I have a feeling with the new analytics staff and Aaron Boone and the way the Yankees do things now, how conservative they approach things, that they're not exactly going to let him go free out there. And that could lead to some inconsistencies with these restrictions. I mean, if everything is fine and dandy, I would let him pitch. I want this guy to get a goddamn great season under his belt. I've been rooting for him forever, but he's never been consistently dominant. There was that one really, really good year where from game 1 of the season to the very end, he was great, but he collapsed against, I forget who it was, maybe the Twins, but he was really bad in the playoffs. And then there was the year, I think, to follow that, where he was fantastic in the first half, and that's kind of when the injury started happening, where he was atrocious in that second half of the season. And then we later find out he's hurt, and this is where we are now. So he's had the potential to be this Cy Young candidate, but he's never lived up from it. He's never lived up to it consistently on a year-to-year basis. And there's never been that one season where he was great from opening day to the very last game of the postseason. And we need to see that finally, once and for all. I hope that we can see it when he gets back. Please. Because I'm tired of this guy getting hyped up so much. Yankees fans pissed off because he's left off the top something pitchers list. Well, fucking yeah. The guy's never healthy and the guy hasn't fucking consistently been great. We need to see it. So I'm hoping, I'm praying, and I hope he's back soon enough and he's dominant. I really do. I'm rooting for him. I just don't know yet until I will see it. And that's the rotation. That's pretty much the rotation. So you got Garrett Cole, who's you're guaranteed, or hopefully, to do his thing. And then after that, we continue to hope and pray that somebody else steps up to be that 1A or 2, whatever you want to call it. And then the 3, 4, 5 guys can complement. So I'm not really, hyped up about this rotation right now. It's to me, it still has a lot of question marks. A lot of potential, but a lot of question marks. And that's the same storyline every year with the staff. I feel like it really is. The bullpen is pretty much the same without Adam Ottavino. They did get Darren O'Day. He's old, but he did have a spectacular season last year in the shortened season. But I'm hoping he can do well in the pen. Hoping Chad Green could be a bit more consistent. But really in the pen, there's not much reliability there. Britton, and that's pretty much it. I'm not really big on Chapman anymore. He's wearing thin on me with his postseason collapses and the injuries, and he's never been. He's losing some velocity. Hopefully he can find something. But the rotation's still a bit iffy for me. The pen is pretty much in that same boat. One sec. Okay, so they're doing the dunk contest at halftime. So they're doing the dunk contest at halftime. Obi Toppin's going. Huh. Trade bait Obi Toppin's going. Once we throw Julius the bag. But that's the rotation. Yeah, this is shit competition here. We get to the bats and stuff, and I think some key storylines to watch here. One of them I have here is obviously Judge and Stanton staying healthy. You know, Stanton had 2 doubles today, his first 2 hits of the spring. Judge, I don't think did much, but he does have a couple doubles himself this spring. So both of them have looked good so far in camp. Judge has 1 strikeout in 12 plate appearances, so that's cool. But you want those 2 guys to stay the fuck healthy this year. Can both of them please give us even 140 plus games? I'll take at this point. 2018, Giancarlo comes here. Oh, Spud Webb's one of the judges. I'm going to see the judges here on the panel real quick. Spud Webb, Dominique Wilkins, D. Brown, who won in 1991. Josh Smith. Oh my gosh. I remember Josh Smith. Wow. He won in 2005. You hope that Judge and Stanton can stay healthy. Giancarlo comes here in 2018, plays 158 games, but Judge 112. I think that was the year where he had that freak injury against KC. But then 2019 comes. Stanton, 18 games. That was the year Judge plays 102. 2020 comes, the shortened season. So out of 60 games, Stanton plays in only 23. Judge plays in only 28. They've not been healthy. We talk about this murderer's row. They're going to bash the home run record. Well, they haven't been healthy enough to do it yet. And quite frankly, I just care about what they do in October. So, I need them to stay healthy in their regular season so both of them have them consistency going into the playoffs on a good note. But man, we need this fucking shit to work. But, when they're healthy, you hope it works. You've obviously got the high reward. You've got the power, the ridiculous power. You've got the good plate presence from both the plate discipline. Even Stanton's, remember last postseason, he was remarkable with the home runs, but just showing an impeccable eye at the plate, not chasing that bullshit as consistently. And then Judge, obviously, this is a 400 on base guy. But, they are, it does, it's the same thing with this line. It's my lineup concerns, right? I'm worried about the multiple guys going into elongated slumps and the strikeouts start piling up and we start relying on the home run with a bunch of runners in scoring position. And that's kind of a big reason to why we go home early every October, right? Along with the failures of the pitching staff is the offense is always, struggling with those inconsistencies against elite pitching in the big month of the season. And so if Judge and Stanton are healthy, there's always that concern that these are 2 very strikeout prone guys who are not really strangers to slumping for long stretches either. So you hope that one of them can at least be consistent while the other one's going through those ups and downs. But you want them to both be fucking healthy because when they're healthy and when they're both on, it's dangerous. But yeah, Stanton had a spectacular postseason, and that's one thing I keep having to reminding myself about. I always have to fucking remind myself because, I have to give him another shot. After that, after what he did for the Yankees and, against Tampa especially, even against Cleveland, you can only build from that. That was remarkable. I was so thankful for that. I've been wanting him to do that, but I've been on his ass all up until that point, and he really bought me in a little bit. He just has to stay healthy. He's got to stay healthy. Another storyline I'm following here. Where is Miguel Andujar going to fit? What is Miggy going to do here? What are we doing here? What's the situation with Andujar? is, minor league, the taxi squad last year, we giving him the Clint treatment. We just going to send him to Somerset. I don't fucking know. I can't say as to I am exactly confident the Yankees are going to keep him. I think at one point maybe he'll be traded. I can't see them doing this platoon thing. We kind of tried it last year. Didn't really work. He wasn't great defensively. Third base or left field. DH. Yeah. There's that option. There's the first base thing we talked about. It's just weird because even if he's going to switch positions, while Gio's manning down third base, the other positions aren't exactly, vacant either. It's going to be tough. You've got Stanton, who's looking to both DH and play some outfield this year, from what I'm reading about. You've got Gardner and Tauchman as the fourth and fifth outfielders at the moment. You've got Clint, Hicks, and Judge as the everyday outfielders. You got Voit at first base. You still have Ford and Bruce trying to get that extra roster spot. And again, you've got Gio at third base. So it's like, where is he going to go? There's a lot of guys on the Yankees list that are ahead of Miggy right now. And so I think what they're going to end up doing is probably trying to find a partner to trade Miggy to. I just missed Obi's dunk. Great. Did he get hurt on the fucking thing? Hey, Julius. Oh, okay, he's laughing. I gotta see if he did anything special here. Let's see. Oh, that was nice. Okay, Obi. Through the legs, windmill, reverse. Whew. Bit of a travel, but hey, it's the NBA. We don't call that here. But yeah, speaking of Clint Frazier, he's, I think Boone said a few weeks ago, he's probably going to be the everyday guy in left field. Thankfully, I don't want to see fucking Gardner get everyday at-bats anymore. For fuck's sake. He did grand slam today against Zach Wheeler. He had the only 4 runs for the Yanks, but Obi got a 48. Yeah. Clinton hit a home run. I think it was yesterday. Yeah. So, my expectations for him are pretty high. I think he can be a 30-100 guy. I really do. So, in his first full season with the Yankees, man, I'm excited for him. You hope. One thing I'm going to keep an eye on, I think the bat's going to be there, most likely, knock on wood. But Obi broke the backboard? Oh no, they're putting a prop on the backboard. Fucking, they're resting the ball on like a little platform. Oh shit. Who's this for? Who is this? I don't know. This is so weird. That was just like a generic dunk for Simmons. I think he's from Portland. Yeah. Where were we? Sorry, I keep getting distracted watching this contest. But I think the one thing I'm going to watch for Clint, he was a Gold Glove candidate, top 3 in left field last year during the shortened season. He played 34 games in the outfield last year. Okay, that's a very tiny sample size of good defense. I just hope that it's enough to where, across a full season, I'm not expecting him to. I'm still concerned, is what I'm trying to say. Is despite that Gold Glove candidacy, across 34 games in the outfield, I'm still concerned. I don't know if that's legit, enough of a sample size. So I hope that the defense isn't a problem to where we're going to have to plug in Gardner and get everyday at-bats from him, or Tauchman, who's also a light hitter, and Jay Bruce, who's pretty washed up in my opinion, and I don't want another strikeout-prone, home run-reliant slugger up there. So I hope that Clint, somebody who's actually young and productive, can find a way to play good enough defense to remain in the 162-game lineup. Hopefully. I'm excited for him, though. I am so thrilled to have him get this opportunity and stop being punished once and for all in the minors. Does Gary Sanchez bounce back? And in parentheses, I have even to a degree. We're hearing Gary cut some more weight this winter. Don't we hear that every single offseason? And it's the same story. I feel like that's the narrative every time. He's cutting weight, he's coming back more motivated, blah, 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 he's in shape. Every single offseason, that's the same storyline we hear with Gary. And it always ends up the same. A $150 batting average later. I'm sorry, a 600 OPS later. That's the big stat now. Hey, he's been doing well this spring. So far, he's looking like a rejuvenated Gary through a couple of games. He had a home run in the opening game of this spring. The catching looked better. He singled the other way today. When do you see that? Against Zach Wheeler. And then he walked. So, 1 for 2 with a walk today. Hitting .333 with a 1,000 OPS so far this spring. So, catching well, hitting well. We'll see where that goes as far as the regular season. But so far, he's off to a promising start in this spring. I'm hoping for him, man. I hope he can at least be average behind the dish. Now, there was that 1 year, was it 2 years ago, where I think he was pretty decent behind the dish. He wasn't great, but he was much better than he's been for the most of his career. I think it was a career high year for him behind the dish. It might have been 2019 when he wasn't terrible, but he wasn't good. He was just decent. He wasn't leading in pass balls. I know that. Sorry. But I'm hoping he can at least be like that, like average. And they're saying he worked a lot with Tanner Swanson in January, catching coach for the Yankees. But, if we can get the pass balls to diminish the framing, that's become a thing people pay attention to now. He's still got that one knee down style. I don't love that. But he's going with it, and it's, I don't know. We'll see. He's a big dude. It's hard to move around much. I get it, but if they say he's in shape, I want to see him hustle every single play behind that dish and when he's running the first base. If we're talking numbers, I don't like to do this, but if we're talking numbers, can the guy at least go 240, 800 average OPS, batting average and OPS? Can he at least hit 240 and give you an 800 OPS? I would even take that at this point. And as bad as mediocre, I guess, as that sounds, that's a 100-point jump around that in batting average and over 100 points in OPS. I think he was in like the 600s last year. So it's a big jump, but can he do that at least? Can he get to those numbers? 240, 800. Can he do that? And hit you 30 home runs and play you, 135 to 140 games? He's had some health issues too. Let's remember that. Does his chemistry with Garrett Cole improve? Garrett Cole and Gary Sanchez didn't get much time behind the dish last year because they weren't really clicking. We saw the numbers compared with Higgy versus Gary. So do we see them kind of work together this spring to try to find some more chemistry? It's the best time to do it. But you think, and the Yankees went and acquired Robinson Chirinos, who I think Chirinos was the guy who caught Garrett Cole a ton in Houston. So that's just maybe a backup in case this whole thing with Gary doesn't work out. And, Higgy is still here. And Higashioka had a really good year. He was a pretty good backup catcher last year. I was worried about that position, to be honest with you, because we let Roman go, who was great as a backup. But Higgy stepped up. He actually ended up being one of the starters for the Yankees in the playoffs. Had a couple of games where he started. But yeah, I want to see how this Garrett Cole, Gary Sanchez chemistry thing works out. And let's see. Last but not least here, does Jay Bruce play a big role for the New York Yankees this season? He had the home run the other day. He was 0 for 2 today, but he's off to a good start in the spring. Does he become a big contributor? Does he get that final roster spot? Beat out Mike Ford. Maybe people are talking about that Dietrich guy. Like Talkman, Talkman's got no options left. The Yankees re-signed Gardner, so maybe they trade him at some point in that package deal with Miggy or something. So I don't know if he's going to make the roster spot. You never even know. Maybe he's not even going to make it. But does Estrada try and resurface and have a bounce back here? Does he make one of the spots here? Does Miggy? There's a lot of guys. Tyler Wade. Unfortunately, Tyler Wade. I feel like Tyler Wade is going to get one of those spots. For some reason. This is a career 140 hitter or something. He's like a fucking 140 hitter. He never hits. He's a terrible, terrible, terrible hitter. The only thing he does is run, and he's good in the field because he's athletic. But he can't fucking hit for shit, and he continues to get these at-bats. I'm tired of the guy. I think he's useless as fuck. If you can't hit, and you're getting these, not every day, but you're getting a lot of at-bats, which the Yankees give him, what are you good for? I mean, you need to be able to hit in this league. You need to be able to hit. I'm just so tired of Tyler Wade. But does Jay Bruce crack one of the spots? I don't know. He's not. I just feel like he's kind of washed up at this point too. He's old. He's, another one of those low batting average, high strikeout, power hitters. But hey, he's a lefty, and we love that. We've got this obsession with being lefty where, like, even if he's not productive, handedness matters. It's like, no, if the guy's good, I don't care what hand he uses to bat. I think people overrate the shit out of this whole lefty thing. Is it important? Yeah, I'm not saying it's not important. I'm saying it's overrated. It's like, if you can hit, you can play. I don't care what side of the plate you produce from. We hit a lot of home runs, so it's not like we need that lefty for the short porch. It's like, fucking, come on. I don't know, man. I'm just not the Jay Bruce thing. If he produces, good, but I feel like he's going to be, what was he last year? Like $1 something, and the Mets sent him to the minor leagues? Fucking, he hasn't been productive in a while. We'll see. The next game for the Yankees is, I think, tomorrow. They travel to Lakeland to take on the Tigers. So, that's that for them. Obi Toppin is using Julius Randle, and somebody else is a prop here. Pretty sure he's going to jump over them both. They're standing up, too. Oh, wow. That was nice. Did he make it? I don't know. Fucking weird. Alright, I'm going to watch the rest of this dunk contest. First, we are going to get to the NYY NYK question of the day as soon as we get back from our last break here.
So really quick before we get back into the show, I do want to remind you that if you haven't yet subscribed to this podcast or subscribed to my blog or followed me on social media even, you can do all that by going to my link tree. Just go to linktr.ee/RJCarbone. That is linktr.ee/RJCarbone. Guys, thanks so much. Let's get back to the show.
All right, let's get to it. The NYY NYK question of the day for episode 218 was, who was the last Knick to average a double-double? The answer to that is Enes Kanter. You could have said DeAndre Jordan, but he only played like 16 games maybe for the Knicks. But Enes Kanter was the last one to double-double for the Knicks across the season. He had 44 in his final year as a Knick, and he had 44 games played. And then the year before that, he actually played a legitimate full season for them. So you could have went Enes Kanter or DeAndre Jordan. I would have taken that. This episode 219, our NYY NYK question of the day. Which Yankees player had just 12 strikeouts in 151 games during the 1950 season. Incredible feat. Which Yankee player struck out just 12 times in the 1950 season? That's crazy. Who was that? Name that Yankee. All right, so message me the answer once I publish this podcast, either on one of the platforms, maybe on YouTube, comment it, or message me the answer on Facebook, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, one of my social media platforms. You can message me the answer or comment the answer there, whatever, and let me know the answer, and I'll give you a shout out. And maybe you can come up with your own question. I'll put that in there for you and give you a shout out that way. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. This is episode 219 of the podcast, BD4. I am your host, RJ Carbone. And that's all we've got for this one, guys. That's all we have got. Hopefully the next time we're talking is after a Knicks victory. They play the Bucks to open up the first game of the second half, and then they've got I don't know who they've got after that, but we're going back on schedule. So we'll continue doing the Knicks every 2 games. We will drop an episode here on the podcast, and that'll be that. And so once the regular season starts for the Yankees, we will be recapping them every night in the blog and talking about them every series in the podcast. So thank you for tuning in to BD4. I, one last time, am your host, RJ Carbone, and that is it for this episode. All right, guys, thank you so much. I'll see you sometime this week. All right, ciao.
This podcast is sponsored by Anchor.